Wonderful. I just got an update about how to pin a chat. Pin a comment. It came up before I could say hi. Okay. It's a little better. A little better. We're getting there. It's a little fuzzy today. So, I don't have my wingman with me, so I don't know if you can hear me or not, but if you can, welcome everyone. I'm Steve. Mark's not around, and this is Smokey Steve and Mark. Welcome or welcome back. Happy Saturday. Jay, Orca, Starburst, Samantha, hello. Mom, Nicole, Janet, hello. Kurt, Irene, I see you, and I see you, and I see you. I hope everyone's well. Hope everyone's safe. Look after yourselves. Look after each other. We're just getting over the weather here. Just graveyard calendars, mango. Sandal, Christine, Harlow, Beth, Pink, hello. We didn't actually get as much Sweet Life of Dreams, hello, of a queen, excuse me, hello. We got a fair amount of snow. I would say 3-4 inches, but pretty much that was just like on the cars and on the lawn. It started raining yesterday, like around noon. We had a big squall and it scared everybody, and we got sent home from work early. And then it rained the rest of the afternoon. So, April, hello, how are you? So pretty much for the rest of the day, we just kind of hung in. But it's colder out today, and if you live anywhere in mountains, north, black ice, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, that was like the horror story of parents telling their kids when they learn to drive in snowy regions. Like, watch out for that. You got 100 subs. Congratulations, Jay. Everyone go sub to Jay's channel. Jay, put your channel in the... Hey, funny girl. Yeah, we didn't get it that bad at all. I thought we were going to get worse. My parents got a little more. They're a little further north. But the storm total predictions went from like 1 to 6 to 4 to 10 to 6 to 17, and then back to like 1 to 3. So as reliable as ever. So welcome everybody. We are going to catch up today with our fair lady Chantal Marie, Foodie Beauty, Big Beautiful Me, the Daily Chantal Chantopoulos. Chantal, her new name, the name change was coming. I thought Nata would have got a name change before this dude did. Oh, what the frig is his name? I'll get it. Anyway, it's his last name now. Now that she's married, I guess that's how they're gonna go. Hey, Shauna. So she I was just catching up with her today because I hadn't caught up with her because it was a busy week at work, and I was trying to get in, seeing what Chantal's doing, and balancing life and other stuff at the same time. Obviously, life is going to take precedent over Chantal, but we did have time to free up. So that's Jay. That's his channel. He has my seal of approval. Mark, he would have Mark's too, so it's fine. But there were a couple things that did come out this week that were reiterated from last week with her. And as I was going through, I was feeling more, good job. Keep hitting refresh, Jay. It gets fun. We're going to touch in on some of the things she did this week as far as her channel. One being the price change for memberships. If you're a VIB, it's $2.99. If you're a very loyal Beezer, it's it's okay. So she's selling her channel cheap. Part of that was going on. She had a change in the garment she was going to wear, that for a few days, or rather probably 8 hours, she was going to be covered up to here and just this much of her face showing, because her smile is for her and her modesty is for her and for her husband. So she did definitely rage. Most people didn't miss that. That was something that I think a lot of people probably caught, or they caught bits of. And a lot of stuff came out during the rage. Questions about her sincerity, the sincere motive she has in wanting to convert or to practice a new faith, which was interesting. How she kind of draws lines here and there. She's starting to draw the line between cultural and religious. And so we're going to start maybe seeing her get rid of some of these things that were kind of confining to her, and she'll be able to give us that as a reason. Personally, I would want as much freedom as possible. Yeah, the come and go. The way she treats it, it's not okay. I'll talk about conversion in a second. Well, no, we're on it. She purchased the garment before she probably opened the religious text. Okay. Now, there's plenty of religious people of all faiths who are well read and completely ignorant. That crosses spectrums. We are as much beautiful as we are hypocrites in most areas of life, and religion to me seems to be in one of those. I'm not a religious person, but I can see someone feeling disrespected by someone who basically was wearing it like an outfit to meet guys. You know, I don't know. I didn't think so. So be a tool to people on the internet. Yeah, you can't. She doesn't have the same kind of look back and forth at herself that a lot of people do with like self-reflection. It's not one of her strong suits. That the behaviors that she does for other people, she's going after French fry girl, we're back at her again, because things are slow and drama sells. So Chantal will start suddenly deciding something that didn't offend her for 3 months, but offended her. And now we're going to have to watch drama videos. We not have to, we choose to. We're blessed with them. But with that, I think she's finding out now, those drama videos are like it. She's the clips from the previous comments. Yeah. Milk Tea usually nails it. I like Milk Tea. She's a class act. I like her. And she makes a lot of good points too, without bringing in too many unnecessary yet also unflattering characteristics about Chantal. So yeah, but I was taken aback by her deciding that she was going to suddenly put on a garment that was going to cover her up to her eyes, and her motivations for doing it. How do we go from one to the other, to where she was naked on camera within the last 6 months, to now a married, modest, as Muslim as she wants to be woman, living in the Middle East? You know, it's a big change, but I don't know. Look for a second. Bonnie girl. Clothes on and covered up. Now, what's unfortunate, and it's unfortunate, and I saw this fly through a couple, I don't know if it was a community post or how it got past me, but someone did a side-by-side trying to compare if Tammy Slayton, who has she carries weight in her bones, in her face, that when Chantal is covered up, it kind of shoots the same thing out. Those giant eyes that you get on the filter aren't really there anymore, and it looks like, busted can of biscuits. I didn't come up with that, but somebody said it, and it's not too that wrong. Praying multiple times a day. She only knows enough about it to not have to engage in it. Like, I have a friend, best friend from growing up, and he got the hell out of this small town and did something for himself, and he travels the world constantly, always in another country, works like pretty much remotely, sort of out of London. And from his experiences that he showed me and talked about from traveling to other places and in the Middle East, it's a very different experience than Chantal seems to be portraying. These things could be life-changing experiences. Cuba wasn't. Praise, not praise. Yes, Kristen. She praised but not praise. He says he doesn't, she doesn't. So then what's with all the... Well, if it's not about prayer, then it is all just for the cultural context. If Allah doesn't care enough that Chantal can go do this or that, she's going to start telling us because we're not Muslim, we don't understand. You're not Muslim. You don't understand. It's just that some folks would do anything to get a man. More proof of love. Yeah. She thinks it's a disappointment to anyone that will no longer see her. Oh, no. Oh, no. She will be back in Canada. She's going to have to be. It'll probably be wildly dramatic, like her running, screaming to the embassy, thinking she'll be life flighted back to Montreal so she can stop off and see them on her way back to Ottawa. I don't know. I think part of the veil, though, and the thing with Chantal is that Chantal thinks that everyone is like her. So she assumes probably other individuals of faith actually do the kind of shit she does behind closed doors. They do it too. That they don't do it with integrity. That they don't continue to practice their faith, even if no one sees, even if it's not broadcast, even if it's behind closed doors. Because it's important to them. It's not important to portray the appearance of a faithful person and tell you how faithful or not faithful I am. It's what you see and what you don't see. She doesn't seem, there wasn't anything very modest or godlike about the rage that we had the other day. Yeah. You all lie too, and you're all ruder than me every day. Whatever helps you sleep at night, bitch. But that's not how it's actually happening. But that's the point of altered perspective. You never have to get it. You live your whole life thinking everyone was wrong but you, and then die alone, and somehow that's satisfying. So, do you want to be right, or do you want to be alone? She hasn't been faithful, Kathy. You're right. And that goes into these different ideas of how she's a whole new person. You can't even make a whole new person in that amount of time. It hasn't even been 9 months. But she's a different kind of person at this point. Is she? Would she cheat on him? Probably. She's cheated on everybody. So, hey, Katie, how are you? The behind the scenes statements. The thing is, though, what's on their channel, the Sala, and I've had to start now watching both to keep up, because on her new channel, which has her new name, I don't know, stiff and rehearsed. There's something uncomfortable about his behavior, Bonnie. I don't necessarily think that means it's like bad or dangerous or anything, but more like awkward. You know, he interacts with her differently. He interacts with her more like Pete's than he did Natter. Like he seems more like, I don't know. He's got that like hot Middle Eastern fuckboy haircut. And whenever they film, you can tell he's a little obsessed with himself. Because Chantal at least knows enough to look at the camera when she's talking. He's looking over here and winking because he's face fucking himself. And if he thinks he's cute, then great. Someone else did. Let's not forget, if we're talking about desperation, it swings both ways. You're telling me Chantal had the best thing going to fly over to Kuwait? You know, he must have his own idiosyncrasies if he's willing to allow for these of hers. So, just saying. People will rat her out. People already have now. They've probably already tried to get her arrested. She joked about being chased down by the morality police. I don't know if she understood that statement exactly. I think she thought she was being cute. It's not cute to a lot of people's experience. Awkward. It's too awkward between the two of them to just, they look at her, she looks at him, they talk, she looks off camera, looking a little empty and dissatisfied, and then they go for Burger King and she's married again. You know, but I think she's going to it's already starting to fall off. The rages that were too modest, now they're okay because she's still working on it. And she's between religions. I'm not knocking Chantal. I'm kind of, the idea of being between religions. Like, you'd go, like, did she have one? Like, I was raised Catholic, but I so obviously don't practice. Like, I don't even think it needs to be said. So, fake and not well scripted. The not well scripted part, Jay, is what I think a lot of people say about the Sala and Chantal couples channel, which hasn't hit. Last week was in the 9,000s for subs and still is there. I'm not saying we're more popular. I know where we are on the food chain, but I'm not confused about it either. The fact that channel couldn't grow beyond that means that the content's not interesting, or the people aren't interested in who's performing said content. Between religions. Yeah, the next phase. This one isn't too interesting to me. Yeah, Bonnie, exactly. I was kind of like, guys like Mark and I get chucked off the roof in some countries. Hey. You know. He is an oddball. He doesn't get irony or sarcasm, and I don't like anything language related. I immediately blame Chantal, because if his vocabulary is that limited, how much could they be talking? I think he just talks and she nods. So, wait for the Canadian stream to come. She's coming back. She's going to have to, you know, and then we'll see what her life looks like here. But I think she thinks that all people of faith are like her. Deep down, they do whatever the hell they want when no one's looking. because they don't think anyone's looking, because, like, I don't know, faithful people maybe kind of do think someone's at least keeping tabs. I don't know, something similar. But called out someone's accent. Well, that's the Chantal, good for thee, not for me kind of thing. So, Tita, hello, how are you? If she doesn't have her oodles of money, it'll be oodles and noodles then. More camping in the desert. You know, when you break that down, it doesn't sound like such a holiday. Actually, it looked more fun camping there than in the woods. To me, personally, me, Steve, I think I'd rather camp in a situation like they have than one that would be more to my northeast region of North America thing. Yeah, Texas, animals, no, you can't fool animals. Animals, no, they can smell it. So, the Canadian tax inspection, thinking she's fleeing the country because of those. She probably is just, I would think, I mean, she wouldn't be the first person to leave a ton of unfinished business because it was too difficult to deal with and run away to try to have another life. But she'll still be Chantal, whether she's in Kuwait or whether she's in Canada, and whether she's in, you know, a burqa or whether she's in a bag or whether she's naked. Just wherever you go. That's why she's still unhappy, because she took Chantal with her to Kuwait. The part of her that she thinks she can leave behind came with, and she didn't know. Now she's jealous. Now she's nosy. Can you imagine? I mean, this guy's a little bit better looking than Natter, so I predict when she's out with him, she's hawking to see if other women are looking, or being jealous because she wants them to say, hey, who's this woman who can pull this wildly attractive man? You know, his aunt. I guess. So, but yeah. She can't finance him to come back over because of her bankruptcies. I was trying to get, now I am not suddenly an immigration lawyer for the country of Canada. I'm not going to pretend to be, and I think even a cursory amount of Googling could get people probably correct information. So I'll leave that there as far as him being able to come in. But Canada's not. There was a period, I haven't brought this up. I finished college. This is a Chantal stream. We'll get back to her in a second. But when I was finishing college, I was in a relationship with a guy, and his plan was to move to Canada. He was going to move to Chicoutimi, which is 2 hours north of Quebec City, which is 2 hours north of Montreal. Cold. It was going to be cold, and he wanted to learn French, and he asked if I was going to go. And I was going to go with a student visa. I needed to have money, like sitting in space, just to have the visa. It wasn't like that. And it was not a small amount of money just for a student visa to go and stay. Ended up falling through. Because when you're 20, plans change fast, and some things sound good for a week and then not later. And then when you're 30, you go, thank God. So live and learn. But yeah. I don't know Mama Force. I don't think she's too grounded to things. She's so what's in front of her that if you mention her cats, she'll roll her eyes because it's taking away from the fun of this moment. Don't say unfun things. It'll ruin the fun of the current moment. But I don't know. And spending time with his family, kids in videos, like when, I don't know. Now they're supposed to be married. Things are supposed to be able to backtrack because she's in active bankruptcy, I'm sure. Chantal. I'm sure. Oh, Chantal banks on a certain amount of misunderstanding via language barrier. Now, that's not saying she has to date white guys who speak English only. Like, that's dumb too. But that level of proficiency, I mean, it seemed with Natter, half of it was like sign language, you know, but she's not interested in someone who could, I don't know, take her on. You know, she still wants to be, I think, in control. She likes the dominant, submissive dynamic, but she's too much of an egomaniac. She needs to be the dominant one, even if she wants to be dominated. She needs to tell her top how to top her, you know, which is still controlling and emasculating, and a lot of guys wouldn't like it. So, I don't know. I don't know. Now, during one of the rage portions, okay. Now, raging about religion, because she is between religions now. Kind of like she's in between, like, getting haircuts, or in between stores right now. In between faiths at the moment. But what was interesting was that she was coming back at people for questioning her sincerity because she had said she never, read the Quran or anything like that. Life by Jen died Jean's first Christmas alone. He's that whole situation. God rest Jen. Hopefully on to bigger and better things wherever we all go when you die. But beyond that, Gene, I didn't have much sympathy for Gene. He was a doll baby when he was sober, but I've been around 1,000 guys like that. I've been in rehab I don't know how many times. He's grimy as fuck when you get a drink in him or if he's on his way to get one. So, he seemed like a doting caretaker, but if she had $4 left and he needed a beer, he'd take her purse. So, and that's a function of illness mixed with personality. Not everyone who has addiction issues is a liar or a thief or a scumbag, but sometimes they cluster. So, Jen Planet are just boring as fuck. Yeah, there's not much to like. There's nothing on Amber's channel going around. I've caught a few in passing to keep our options open, but I can't get into it. Chantal, it's the unimaginable. How is this still going on? How can a person fall so far and be so proud of it and be so blindsided and not see what everyone else sees as, obviously it's what's going on. So that we'll leave with, I guess we'll leave that with her. It's time for a smoke break. I don't have Mark with you. Usually I have someone who can run interference in the chat, so I'm trying to keep an eye here, trying to keep an eye up, but trying to kind of stay on a modest topic. The ATV, yes, Samantha. So she's out camping. Now, I think it's like cool that she's like trying new things and doing different stuff. When she talked about being a worldwide traveler, some of this stuff I would have thought. What it also showing me is that they've run out of free shit to do in Kuwait. Like, let's go to the mall again. Let's go to a movie. These aren't really like videos. She talks about being a vlogger, but she just kind of shows whatever's at the place she's at when she shows up. She doesn't have a plan of like, I'm going to go look at this or look at that. Like Mark does that if we do any vloggy type thing. Let's find out information about this and let's share about that. And, so there's some context to flatter myself to think the only thing they're watching the vlog for is me, so I don't need to show anything, is so arrogant and short-sighted. And it's short-sighted because look at the views on the couples channel. Just because you show up, it doesn't mean everyone's going to watch. It still has to have some quality to it. The sight of her makes you angry. She hits chords with a lot of people. She's a very easy target, but sorry. Obnoxious, hurtful people who, when they do get picked on, may be picked on, come back like they've been, like, she puts herself in these situations and blames everybody else. But, God bless her. We're in the fortunate position that she's not the only thing we do on the channel. So we can spend 5-6 days a week doing something else. Going somewhere else, talking about something else. Chantal videos are the most viewed, but that's just because I like keeping up with her and seeing what's going on and sharing thoughts and stuff like that. I can't see myself, they'll be showing this clip back. I can't really kind of see myself switching over to doing full-on reactions where I'm stopping it every few minutes and talking. Those videos are hours. They're either 4 hours long or they're a bitch to edit so that they're not 4 hours long. So it's not really if YouTube was my full-time job, sure, but I'd make the effort to learn it and do it. But wearing her abuse like a badge of honor. If it happened to her, it's the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone. And her situation was a little worse, probably. So, going home at 8 p.m. today from the hospital, day 4, COVID notifications, all been rough. Oh, God bless you. Look after yourself. There's a bunch of folks getting sick now again. And the flu's going around and the RSV and all that. I didn't know about Chantal until I watched this channel. Oh, good. So then I am getting her views. Me and my legions are getting views from her. Most people, honestly, I'll tell you, for a lot of people who watch the channel, watch for all the stuff we do the rest of the week. It's crafts, it's cooking, it's mental health stuff, drug and alcohol stuff, seasonal things, whatever it is. And they just assume not know who Chantal is and don't care to watch her. But there's folks who only come to hear about Chantal too. And I don't have anyone else to talk to about it because Mark won't listen. If like, did you believe what he's like, I don't want to. You think he's the nice one. I'm the nice one. Well, Sean, it's like, again, it's that kind of ego thing. It's like, if this many people will show up to see me do this, well, then this many people will show up to see me do that. I flatter myself to think that I am enough of an attention grabber to pull a person, like that. Stay because the other stuff. Thanks, Christine. Well, the other stuff is like our real life, The boss wants me and I can become boss. They all want me. Don't have people to talk to. That's kind of like it. Any thoughts on Cynthia B? I've not watched in a while. I haven't either, Claudia. Honestly, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't know who's watching. The shorts are really popular. Cynthia has some really popular shorts. The content is, well, I'll leave that to the viewer to decide. But she had a lot of success getting some shorts in like the tens of millions too. I don't know about her show with Adam anymore. I haven't heard from either of them for a while. By heard from, I mean, like, I haven't seen content from either of them in a while. So, but do you make money from shorts? I think you can. We don't, but if someone was watching them, you can. But it's funny though. We'll have a short that maybe gets a very like small, like 1,000 views, something like that. We'll have a short that gets 1,000. We might make 3 cents for those 1,000 views. There's others that we have a few thousand and we've made nothing. So, I don't know. First time here, I'm just recovering from a severe chest infection, so you're cheering me up. Oh, good, Katie. Glad to help. Happy to help. Chest infections suck. I light another cigarette. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Starburst. But Meta pays pretty good bonuses on Reels. We haven't been in that direction with Facebook. Yeah, I mean, YouTube, we don't make a fortune. I mean, when I look at the views she's getting now, I know, translated that many times over, how much money she doesn't have this month that she had the month before from that coming in. Just because I can look, I'm like, okay, you get about this many. And she's doing videos that are like 12 minutes long and have 2 to 3 ads in a 12-minute video. What is so interesting that I can only take it at 4 minutes at a time before I have to be sold something? And then 4 more minutes. That's greedy. I feel like that's greedy. I don't know. My own, so just, yeah. I don't know. Views. Well, the other thing I touched on, wanted to just mention in passing was about, thank you, April. Thank you. Her deciding about, where did I take these notes? Things that she'll do. If she needs views, where do the boundaries end? The only reason Chantal likes rules is to find a way around them. Her religion will be no different. So how's she going to explain not doing things that it looks like other faithful folks do? It didn't take off. Like I said, it's not original. We have Amy's life journey. I know everyone's story is unique, but the angle of fat Muslim white woman, other guy, having a family, their foibles, it's not new. Couples channels aren't new either. And I think it's more of a big deal to have the couples channel because it says couples in the beginning. It couldn't just be, Chantal and friends or something. So, watched a couple Muslim women react. They ain't happy. I would suspect as much. Yes, it's the teenage kind of thing, which makes me question. Well, I've always questioned him, but yeah, what view? The only reason reaction channels get good views on videos where they react to outrageous shit. Okay, so when she does outrageous things, that's where the money comes from. If no one's making money off of her, it's because her content's boring. And if she's not making any money off of her, she'll go pick a fight. All of a sudden it's Cokie this and French Fried Girl and Motel 6 and all that kind of crap. And, it's good for both of their business. But I mean, I wouldn't discover Chantal through this bit of drama and suddenly decide, hey, I'm really curious about her perspective on living in the Middle East. What a correspondent. No. I think you're right, Jay. I think she's a bit focused on herself. Chantal is ultimately about number one. Even her husband comes number two. Are y'all ready for Christmas? Any big plans? Thank you for all you do and the best in who. Thank you, Lilith. Thank you for the super chat. Christmas is going to be small, I think, because, COVID cases are going up. I think we're going to keep it breezy and easy and stay at home. And the next year, we'll talk about revelations when we get to that. We'll probably the same ones as last year. Resolutions, excuse me. So, feeling bad about Amber Lynn. I never felt good or bad about Amber Lynn. It was too complicated. There was too much going on. If we were a solely reaction channel and I was covering her, yeah, I would dive further in. But I don't have curiosity even for Trainwreck's sake to watch Amber manipulate a bunch of women into being maids for her. It's not, Well, good thing we're watching your channel, Jay, so we'll know where to see all those things. Yeah, Amber's kind of boring. I don't get it. I liked Becky. That was the last thing I could say when I watched her a few times before they split. I liked Becky. I thought she was too nice for her. But, then they broke up and she gets a channel and they get a channel. And it's like, what the... Everyone's got something to say for 4 cents a view. Live and right from there. So I think like any other area of life where there's rules and boundaries, and religion would be no different, she's going to try to find ways to still be Chantal within that and find nitpicking nuances where she can do exactly what she wants and still somehow defend it. Right now, the defense is, I'm still learning. Later, the defense will be, I lost my faith for a moment. So now we're supposed to take at granted that she is a good person, that we've all just seen the worst side of her for years. And this is who she's really been the whole time. And that's who she's shown herself to be to her husband. So, I don't know. But, I mean, if she's the one making the money, which it kind of seems like that, if she's bringing the money in, why wouldn't, she'd probably, look, kid, hey, LA, hello, you made it, hello. Why don't you guys just, go away. Leave me alone. I want to know what Chantal would do. I'm curious. I want her to come back to Canada because I want to see how this shakes down. I want to see. She moves so quickly that there's no time to process changes. She just changes on the plane, I guess. She's going to have to fly back another 10 hours to Canada. I'm sure that'll be a treat for her and whoever is on the plane with her. The villa would still be there. Pete's is going to have to find his own place from what it sounds like. Salva's not okay with him being there when she gets back. So she's going to either have to buy Pete's a new place or buy Pete's, get a new place. So, yeah, in Canada, she's a little more freewheeling. Well, the thing is, she's so unashamedly awful that her trying to cover it up and act like not only is she not like that anymore, but she was never really like that to begin with. Covered up to her eyes, you can still tell she's lying about certain things. It just isn't her lifestyle. It looks funny because it is funny. So, and he ain't worth shit either for taking advantage of her. She's a lonely, desperate woman. She's highly manipulative in response, but it makes her feel pretty. It makes her feel special. So, let her have her bottle. So, bye, Harlow. Now, re-entry into Canada is a different discussion because I don't, that actually, if I was going to reach out to anyone, I'd probably reach out to Milk Tea to get the specifics because I know that she understands the nuances of that kind of thing and of traveling. So, oh, another thing that we had touched on. She goes off on French fry. Yeah, she does a lot. But, I mean, I don't know. French fry, does she talk about anybody else? Anything else? Does she have an understanding that, I would be stupid not to say, of course we get more views on videos when we talk about Chantal. People like to catch up on gossip. Some of the reactions are funny. And it's a way to talk in a space with other people who are also viewers but not fans, maybe. Put it like that. and provide a space for that. So if we shut out our comment section, somebody probably go talk somewhere else about it. Elizabeth, hello, how are you? Wade bothered her. Now she's wearing full face covering. She can't. She's proving a point, but she can't hold the mask up for too long before it makes a thud. It's not going to stay as easy breezy as it is now. Once, all very quickly, she's going to have to be like back in Canada, decide on if she's moving or if Pizza's moving, how she's going to deal with him in Kuwait. She's going to be texting him constantly, asking, were you talking to her or her or her or her or her? It's the jealousy that half ruined it with Natter, too. Mark is not home at the moment, Barbara. Mark is out. We will see if he comes back. I can't text him because we are now talking on my phone. But he had mentioned he'd try to make it back before the end, which would be around 7 or so. So Natter was a flirt. That's true. Like I said, his vibe seems different. Like he's got like awkward. He seems very awkward. So yeah, there's money to be made in hate and drama. There's quite a bit of money to be made in hate and drama. Can you blame any of them for taking advantage of it? I don't know that I would, but let's say this video suddenly got me, I don't know, $4,000 in super chats, and all of a sudden now we're up over like 50,000 views, 50,000 subs, and things start moving. I can see the temptation to want to keep it going in that direction just to keep the momentum going. But if it wasn't a good direction to start with, then it's going to crash and burn anyway. And people will watch for spectacle. Like I watch for spectacle. I'm like, I can't believe a person lives like this. But it's more with awe rather than disgust. It's more with curious assessment. Like, wow, I wonder what went on with her that allowed that to happen. She stays past the first, she loses her Canadian benefits. Welcome home, Foodie. Oh, thanks, Getta. Merry Christmas to you, too. Many, many. So, now, the couples channel is something else that kind of comes up, because now at this point, we're going to be probably talking about what's on both channels. Her couples channel now with Sala has a lot of the kind of scripted, safer-ish content that she used to have before the live arc, but before Natter, like go before all that. She would do these kind of videos like in between diets, when dieting was the thing. That was the whole big deal. Is she on her diet? Is she off her diet? Is she lying about her weight? Is she not lying about her weight? And periodically she'd go back and do little vlogs like this, which were nothing. They weren't vlogs, really. I mean, she went to Starbucks and she would take a video of it and show everybody what she did and put little cartoons in the video, and those things were cute. And that content is more like what she's doing with Sala now. They just go out and videotape themselves or film themselves doing whatever out in public. It's not particularly interesting, I think, to a lot of people, though, aside from the fact that it's her. So since there's no train wreck on that channel, there's no train wreck appeal on that channel, so people don't go over there to watch. And now with her own channel being Chantal Al-Rafay, got it right. Might have butchered the pronunciation. The grape diet, Jay. Oh my God, Jay. The grape diet, the grape lemon fast. That was at a time when she was getting criticized heavily for being a different kind of channel every day. What kind of channel do I do? Is it a mukbang? Is it this? Is it that? Is it that? She tried to be a diet channel like 3 times a month, and she had the book about the grape juice and lemons, and she was going to go with it. That's up there with the guy who was a medium who's channeling diet tips. That was another one that came through. Smoothie challenges right after doing the ER with the cheese overdose. The food is the problem and solution to all her problems. All her problems and solutions are in food. So, yay, welcome, Andy. You got your power back. Good, good. The diet medium. Yes, there was a freaking medium. And that was at an easier time where it was like kind of just to, smirk a little bit at her and be like, well, she's not hurting anybody. She's just a dope, But then as it started to expand and people started to invest trust in her as a person, and then, people trust you till they catch you lying. So she would get caught lying. And then for a lot of people, that's it. You lie about one thing, big, small, doesn't matter. You're a liar forever and ever. Amen. The fact that she would continue to get caught in situations like that, where I just changed my mind. I can understand how you would all be confused about my behavior because you don't know what's going on behind the scenes. That's a really well scripted one. That's as easy as blinking. But what could be going on off scenes? It's so restricted and private. And she's a good, faithful woman. What could be going on off camera that's not on? She wants to say they're doing it and getting it, but she can't brag on him like that, like she did with Natter. She wants everyone to think she's a sex kitten, even in a garment. One time Steve raises his middle finger, my mom, I'm sorry, Dark. Just put it down like this. We'll play radio. We'll play podcast. You can do that. Pass a message on to Gene. Slap him around a bit. I don't know where that's going. He had his own channel too. Her channel became their channel, and then his channel was his channel. Very traditional. He was also in his roles about men and women. Though I think it seems like Salah's okay with Chantal paying for shit. So, that's different than Natter. Also. But let's see. What else where did we go? We talked about falling prices, which screws over the people who've been subscribed this whole time and paying that amount of money for nothing. Now they can pay less for nothing. So the veil of her being covered up to here now that she wanted to do that. And that flashed for about, was it even a day or two? And then all of a sudden, we're not doing that anymore. For her job, it's not practical for her to do that. What's she going to do? Have a mukbang behind? Like how's she going to show anything off? She made the bulk of her money by being gross, slovenly, and half naked over the last year. And she's surprised this isn't taking off. No, she took it back. She put up in a community post that she was rushed. She doesn't want to do this like a costume. She wants to take it seriously. She wants to do what's in tradition, and apparently, according to Allah, vis-a-vis Chantal's interpretation of that. She doesn't have to wear a veil up to there. That's more of a cultural tradition than a religious one, I guess. So that's how I told you this is how she's gonna start finding holes in everything. She's gonna be the most liberal Muslim woman you've ever met by the time she leaves Kuwait. Yeah, right, Robin. It's gone. It's already took it off. Couldn't stick with it. I didn't lie. I changed my mind. Well, yeah, they're not going to see her eat. Now, she went up and down. So we went from just this to this, and now we're back. We're back here. So that's where she is at the moment. Am I surprised that she changed her mind about something that probably most people take more than 3 minutes to meditate on? How they appear? But I don't know. Has anyone made potato pancakes using frozen shredded potatoes? I don't know, but I'll put it in Mark's ear. We'll go for a cooking video and we'll find out. We'll find you. We'll get you one. She did it for attention. I don't want to just, be like, well, obviously, thanks. But, if it's just insincere, then the cold sore cleared up. Yeah. Allegedly. I know Amanda. I saw the same thing. I'm like, what is that on her mouth? And then she's covered, and then she's not. I mean, I wear a mask to work. What used to be now it's most days, but I'll wear it out even if I don't need to be wearing it or I'm distanced because I didn't shave. So I didn't want to bother to screw with my goatee, so I put a mask on to go out. I get the convenience. The wigs are pretty much the same thing, but I don't know. I did it all my life too. Yeah, that's the thing. I was good friends with some people who were in the Muslim student union because their office was next to the gay and lesbian student union in college. And I never got an impression of how sometimes you might have it in your head, this is my idea of what a good devout Christian is. And this is what my idea of a good devout Muslim is. To the extent that anyone thinks of it at all. It was not this kind of stiff, unfriendly thing that I get from Salah, where he's kind of off put, doesn't really want to be involved in things. I think the novelty's off of what he thought was a good idea. When you're 20, you make mistakes like that. When you're 40, you should know better. Hopefully. Save on lipstick. Yes. She's already saving on nails because now she has to have modest hands, modest this. You know what? Let's just say it ends here. What if she never, I don't know. I'm trying to think, what would her life look like? What would the channel look like? Is she capable of actually making a change that big? Hey, Ariana. To where either he comes back to Canada or she goes over there with him. She's going to have something to hold over his head like she did with Natter. This is a warning shot for you, Mr. Sala. We've seen clips of Chantal talking off camera with Sala in the room. You might not want to it doesn't sound so good to the police when you say things like that, pal. She also covers her ass. So if there's any way she could get him in trouble, she's holding on to that somewhere in her head in case she needs to use it. Because the reason she comes out as the villain is because she's mean a lot of the time. She's mean to other mean people, so sometimes, like, who cares? Like, with Natter, it was like watching tennis. It's like, I don't care what the fuck happens to either of you. You both treat each other like shit. So it was more fun to watch. This is more subdued. Watching the complete humbling of her. It's just a matter of time. No, she doesn't stick. It is Charlie's mom. There's always a plan. And Chantal was always number one in her plan. Completely. Even with her husband, it's still about her. It's just who she is. She's just wired for me. Have to think of me first. It's not even a thought about thinking. It's just the first thing she has is, how does this affect me? What's going to happen to me? Which is a good working definition of self-centered, but, 320. Hello, everybody, as I pick my head up and look at the chat. There's 320 of us. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I don't know. Is she still on? She was on with Sala, I think, when I came on. And I don't know. It was boring. The content's boring. It's boring. So the more the merrier, exactly. Pile them in. Bill is right. Thumbs up, all. If you like being here, say hello. Gay gentleman said he believes Sala's gay, just saying. Well, some people call Sala a man. I'm a man, and I disagree. But, yeah, there's been speculation that he was maybe just not interested because he's homosexual, and he's not interested. And I would completely understand that situation, given what his life could be like in his family and social circle in that area of the world if he were. That doesn't mean she's rescuing him. She's still exploiting his situation to her end to make money and live off of. So all the food's gotten real odd. Well, geez, thank you very much. Happy holidays to you too. I can't fathom, her staying in if she goes back to Canada, would she ever go back to Kuwait? I think with a little distance, Chantal is shallow enough that she'd be like, nah, I'm good. She'll make sure he's not dating, but she won't go back over, He loves himself. You can always tell. He's always looking over here. He's always looking over here, winking at himself. You see how this is not you? It's because I'm looking at me. And I'm sure, that's kind of thing. Friends thinks Natter's gay, but not Sala. Natter's a pig. He would take it when he would take whatever was coming by. I'm sure he explains it away to himself that if he's the one who's in the one certain position, then he's not really gay. It's just the other guy who is. That's something guys tell themselves when they have gay sex and then go back to their wives and girlfriends. It's not exactly how it shakes down. At the crux of homosexuality is liking to have sex with people of the same sex. Everything else is just noise, lisps, weight, songs, dancing abilities, but that dancing of Natter's didn't help either. But the new membership is there. Oh, okay. So, God, we went quick. We only have like 10 minutes left. Let me see. Make sure I covered everything I wanted to just touch on. We had a nice chat. I've been having a nice chat. I hope you guys are as well. Chantal and the Quran. The last thing I wanted to mention. Chantal, someone giving her a question. Have you read the Quran? And her response being, the Bible. Does every Christian read the Bible right away? Usually that sparks their interest. Not the nuns' outfits. People don't decide to show appreciation for a religion by dressing like the most devout. and then reading the book later. Or actually meeting the guy later. So, like I said, I think last week or week before, it's just like stalking your crush's Facebook page or their MySpace page, finding out what their favorite song is, and then setting up a time for you to say hi to them when you could randomly say, "Oh my God, I was just thinking of converting to Islam. What perfect timing." So, she's not interested in understanding because she thinks she shouldn't have to. She thinks the costume is enough. And she lives in kind of an altered fantasy, so, but at the same time, I don't know. Fried salty potato. She doesn't have much of a personality. Well, who was talking about it? Who had done a live that knew her? And they were discussing how, no, this was a person who had commented on one of Chantal's comments about how they knew her back in the day. This person was alleging they knew her back in the day. And that a lot of the stories Chantal would share on her channel were not things that happened to her. They were interesting things that happened to someone else. Oh, she's not going to live through Ramadan. No way. Not the way she sleeps. I wonder if he has her on like working man's hours now. I wonder if she's like up with the sun, down with the dark, or if she's still sleeping until 4 p.m, eating chicken off her desk. I wonder if things are different now in that way. Because she'll go back to it when she goes to Canada. So she'll probably make a video about staying in a hotel if she goes back, and then she'll go stay at Pete's. Chantal thinks we all are exactly like her. We're just some of us better at faking it than others. She doesn't understand that she behaves differently than other people and that it can be hurtful. So, thank you, Victoria. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, God, I don't want a chapter verse out of her, but kind of like, hey, the tenant of this faith, the reason you're wearing that, all this stuff is explained here, when usually it isn't. But we had Western Civ I took in college. It was like intellectual heritage or something like that. And you have to read from faith texts and other different kind of books, some philosophers, that kind of thing. And the Quran had come up. And I think I still have a copy of it. It's on a shelf somewhere. It's for reference in case I need to double check on whether something is or isn't moral in the Muslim world. Like I care. but I have the book. And I've read a little bit of it because it was an assignment. But because it's something I didn't know anything about and I was interested. How do you get interested in a faith you don't know anything about? You get interested in the idea of moving to another part of the world. You get interested to the idea of beating with a Middle Eastern guy. You get interested in that. Then you find out that it's attached to a religion and you're, whatever, that too. I'm not religious. I'm not going to tell you God's going to strike you dead. I don't even have defined thoughts on that topic. But I mean, people of faith would look at this and go, probably 2 reactions. Either, I totally get it, that's how it happened to me, which means you're an idiot too. Or they just would shake their heads and think, how could you just, for a guy, So, I don't know. So I guess we're starting to wind down here already. It's already almost to the hour. So that's what this week has been with her. It's been a lot of playing nice on one channel and running her mouth. The community posts also, like other weeks, were ridiculous. People she was taking shots at, people she was, deleting it, putting it up, apologizing for losing her cool, how she's not like this anymore. But I mean, she's obviously like this anymore. So, at any rate, so we'll see what's coming up with her. I'm not super optimistic that things are going to turn out. So leopards don't change their spots. I'm along with that, Mary. I believe in healing. I believe in transformation, but not just change for the sake of change. It doesn't really work like that for me. These were a gift. That is actually a card. A gift card that opened up into a vat. Read my Bible to make sure I wasn't being deceived by the messenger up front, but that's just me. It's like any book. If you're going to join the club, know the rules first. Know what you're talking about. Whatever it is, I de facto kind of just know all the Christianity rules because I was brought up that way. But that doesn't mean I make it my business to tell other people who are Christian how they should or how they would, conduct themselves. Mr. McPhoebe, hello. That's okay. We're wrapping up. Mark's not going to make it probably anyway, so we'll just have us, and then tomorrow night we're live again too. So hopefully we'll do that. All right, folks. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for joining. I've had a good time. Y'all kept me company. I was feeling a little sketchy today between you and me and the walls here. And it was nice to be able to sit down and just talk. Say something with the 12-step big book. Oh yeah, the 12-steppers too, the recovery crew. So thank y'all for watching. Please do subscribe. Hit the thumbs up on your way out if you'd be so kind. Hit the bell. You get alerts when we have new videos and go live. You can follow us on Facebook at SmokeySteveAndMarc or on Instagram at SmokeySteveAndMarc. Email address and contact info is below. Anything else you need? Leave it in the comments. Any other thoughts, please share. Otherwise, I'm going to get off of here. I'm going to take this down for maybe like 10 minutes and then put it back up. So that'll be very for you all to view again. Okay? So thanks for being here. And we'll see y'all tomorrow, live, 6 p.m. Eastern, tomorrow night. Okay? Bye. Thanks for coming.